What's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to another video. So, boy, I had a whole other video filmed and edited for you guys that you were going to see today, and last night I had to re-record a new video, this video, because the last 2 days has been loads of crazy announcements. Don't worry, that other video that I made, you're still going to see it. You'll see that probably in the next few days. That's a really good video, so stick around, subscribe if you haven't already, because I think you will like that one. But today, we're talking about the new Canon R3. R3, haven't heard me say that before, because I was talking about the R1, as was pretty much everybody else. So I released a video a couple of weeks ago talking all about the Canon R1, the rumoured specs that it was going to have, what we thought about it, what it might be good for, and it seemed like everyone else was talking about it too, the internet everywhere. And then suddenly, Canon dropped a bombshell announcing the development of the Canon R3. I've got some of the information about it, I've got some of the specs, going to share that with you guys in just 1 second. But before I get into it, going to ask you guys to do the usual bits for me. Number one, hit the like button on the video because it helps me out loads and loads on my channel and I really appreciate it. Number two, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Loads of other videos to come that I think you might enjoy. So what do we know about the Canon R3? Well, Canon released some information, but not all of the information. Some of the bits we do have, that apparently it is going to be a brand new sensor. It is a 35mm back illuminated stacked sensor. Canon tell us that that combined with their Digic X image processing is going to give us next level high speed photography and filmmaking. Apparently it also combines the outstanding autofocus systems from the Canon R5 and Canon R6, and yet it has been developed even further. The Canon R3 will include eye-controlled autofocus technology. It sounds like it means that wherever you look in your viewfinder, it will be able to pick that as the autofocus point. I gotta admit it, that does sound next level to me. It also has what Canon are calling their professional build, which means it is weather sealed and it has the built-in grip just like the 1D series. And they've talked a lot about high speed. This camera will be able to shoot 30 frames per second. That 30 frames per second is when you're using the electronic shutter, which is currently 20 frames per second in the R5, R6. I haven't seen information as to what it will be on the mechanical shutter just yet. But needless to say, I imagine it will be a rapid. So the thing that is really interesting is that Canon have said that the Canon R3 will be positioned in their lineup in between the Canon R5 and the Canon 1DX Mark III. So that suggests that they're still saying the 1DX Mark III will be their flagship professional camera body. Now, I get what they're saying, but that doesn't really make much sense to me. You guys who watch my channel already know that I have an opinion that the R6 is right up there with the 1DX Mark III, and in fact the R5 maybe even surpasses it in certain ways. So for them to say the Canon R3 is positioned almost below the 1DX Mark III, A, feels quite confusing, and B, based on the specs we're hearing, maybe doesn't sound quite true. Where that does become really interesting though is if they're saying it is positioned just below that 1D series, does that mean that actually we're not totally wrong and the Canon R1 is still to come? Maybe the Canon R3 is not the Canon R1. Perhaps this is just the Canon R3 and the Canon R1 is still to come. I guess at this stage we really don't know. Unfortunately, we don't have a release date just yet and we don't actually have a price. However, Canon Rumours did tweet earlier on today that they had received some kind of information that suggested that the R3 would be priced below the Sony A1. Now the Sony A1 is currently priced at £6,500, so being below the price of the Sony A1, I'm afraid certainly does not mean it is going to be cheap. It might be that it's £6,450. We really don't know at this stage. But needless to say, this sounds like it will be one hell of a camera. I'm certainly really interested to see when we get the full specs and when there's a release date of some kind announced. Hopefully it won't be too long. Based on some of those specs, it kind of goes without saying it's going to be a camera that is definitely designed for fast moving sports, action, wildlife, things like that. It is going to be a really top of the range, high speed camera. that just about rounds off today's video, guys. This really was more of an update to tell you, like, whoa, the Canon R3, I cannot believe it. That's about it for today. Don't worry, still got that other video coming for you guys in a couple of days. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, do me a favour, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. The R3, you sneaky